everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our next playthrough. This time it's going to be DC Batman The Dark Knight Returns, the board game by Cryptozoic. It is a game for 1 to 2 players, though I would argue it's a solo game only. It takes roughly 90 minutes and it's for ages 14 and plus. And it's based on the Dark Knight Returns comic by Frank Miller, which is a classic. I have it. I have the originals. Oh man, it's such a great story. And this takes place during that time period. Basically, it's about Batman they either thought he was dead or something, but he came out of retirement in order to fight crime one last time. And it takes him through a story. It's a really amazing story. Anyway, I was going to do a setup video, and I chose against it. One, because there's others out there if you really want to see it. But the setup is beefy. Now, it's a 90-minute game, so I guess it's okay that it takes some time to set up. But I'm going to talk through a couple of the key elements of setup, but I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I'll just touch on them. I'll spend a little more time on some than others because some are more important. But a couple key features of the game. Again, it is mainly designed for solo play. You are going to build your own hand, your own fight deck, and your own event deck by selecting cards. You get some manipulation in there. There is dice in the form of regular dice, but also these very interesting Batarang dice, which are on your utility belt and part of your pool. The game takes place in 4 books, or 4 chapters, and we are going to play book 1, which is The Search for Two-Face. And I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. I'm going to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's what it's called. That's what we're going to play. It is the first book in the game, and what's interesting is each of the scenarios in the game will take you to different places in the story. And there is a book, like this is the book for, just give you an example. This is the rule book. It's big too, by the way. It's the rule book, and it also is the setup for the first book chapter. So you get the rules and you get that. And the box is laid out in such a way where you can contain most of the different components for the book. And everything could be different. The meaning of the dice can be different for the characters in it, the bad guys. The scenario objectives will be different. Goals that you can achieve will be different. And they carry over from book to book as you play. It's super cool. We actually have a couple of vehicles we can get from Wayne Manor. In this case, it's the Batcopter and the remote control bat. And we are trying to find Two-Face. Now, he has got bombs planted. We're going to read the story, but he's got basically bombs planted around the city, and he's going to blow them up. We have to find clues, take down the mutant gangs that have risen up in Gotham, and try and catch Two-Face, who was recently released from prison. Now, in the setup, you're going to do a number of things. I'm going to go back to the setup thing in the book just so I can kind of run you through it. It really is. I mean, the setup really is a monster. But it's well designed, well guided, so it takes you through the setup. You notice there's a ton of tokens on here, like these tokens here, and each one of those gets set up based on the scenario rules specifically for this book. Each book will also have its own version of Batman that you place out over here. Let me just pan over here on the board with some other cards that are important to this book. In this case, our Batman, he's dead or retired because he's just coming out of retirement to deal with this stuff. He's got some movement rules. This is whenever you move through a location with 2 or more adversaries or a riot, you take a damage. That's important because there's a lot of things on the board. You can move. I'll talk about movement a little bit. When you start a fight with a cop, you lose a grit. So you don't want to start fights with cops because, you know, they're the good guys. You don't want to do that. We have this cooldown card, and when we use our dice, when we get pals or pal times 2, they go on this card, and they have to cool down for that fight, and loses you some dice opportunities. And then we have an ally on the board for this first book. It's Jim Gordon. Now he has a couple things. He can move around and he can do 2 things, basically. He can quell riots, but he also has the ability to, I thought he had the ability to, here it is, ally movement. May move through up to 3 paths. If he ends his movement on a press token, we remove it. And what is a press token? Well, it's one of these. It means there's press in that area of the city because, you know, all hell's breaking loose in Gotham, and you're trying to resolve what's going on. And then way up there in the corner, you can see we got some other things. You know, there's slots for more stuff. More stuff can come out and will come out in the game. I'm just showing you this side of the board. The board's well laid out. It's just really big, takes up a lot of space, and you got to reach around for things. So these are the dice that we're going to have for book 1. And if you look on here, it tells you what the dice actually do. So we have the cops dice, which is the blue one, and it tells you that you know, this one we get when we build our dice pool. We're going to have the cop in our space plus 1 per adjacent space, so we could have as many as 3 or so that we're fighting against. And we lose the 1 grid at the start of each fight. So with Batman, you know, if he's fighting cops, he's going to lose 2 grid. We don't want him fighting cops unless we absolutely have to, right? And if they get the baton, it's a miss. But if they get the, you notice that these 2 things are misses, and the balance of them. Like there's different things on here that matter, and they're going to matter in different scenarios. So that's a miss, and that is a miss. That is exactly what it says. A block and a POW, whatever that is, does damage, right? So we can take damage with Batman. And then you have the mutant dice, and it says that it's a miss on the bat symbol. Right there is a miss, and everything, you know, the other things are what they are. And then if there's a riot, then these dice mean something different, and the press cannot fight, obviously. They're not in there to fight. And then we have the Two-Face card. Shows what Two-Face does. He's the boss. He's got 5 hit points. He has these 2 dice. It says both sides match. If Two-Face rolls the same non-miss results on both dice, immediately lose 1 sanity. He's a little crazy. Makes you crazy. And then C is reflection. Each -1 to Two-Face rolls deals a 1 unblockable sanity damage. So he's going to cause, and what we're talking about is the -1s right here. See, on his die. These are his 2 dice. Obviously, Two-Face, right? Get it? It's custom dice for him. Now, something else I'll point out. How do I know these are all for book 1? And this is a good thing. They all say it. It's book 1. And they stack in their own little spot in the game box. I know some people said they didn't like the insert. I particularly do. I think it actually works for the game and holds the stuff where it belongs. So that's kind of this side of the board. Now, we're not going to go over the scenario necessarily, but I just want to talk about some other elements of the setup, because there are some. Again, the 2 vehicles that we have, the Batcopter, they're way up at the top of the table. I'm not going to get them. They're in their slots there. Those also are related to this first book. Now over here, we got a bunch of stuff. This is the GCPD, Gotham City Police Department track. It's also going to track our turns. You can see we have 16 turns in 4 separate rounds. And each round is going to have us do some different things. We'll look at that, mainly pick new cards. Also, you see this here. Now, we haven't filled this out yet because we won't quite yet. But when we start our turn and we pick our cards, we're going to fill out. We have a number of 7 that we have to fulfill, and that's a spawning number. So basically, we're going to say, in this turn, this is upper east side, which you can see it's on the board. It's up there in the top corner. We're going to spawn X number of mutants when we do the spawn turn. I'll go over the turn sequence in a little bit. And then you see X number of press, X number of police, X number of mutants again. And this was randomly determined. These are the 1 section ones. And they go through down here through 8, and then the 2 section ones here go down here through 16. And if we get to the end of the track, we fail. There's a couple ways to fail. That is one of them. We also, if we ever get to 0 in any of our tracks, which I'll show you in a second, they're up there at the top, we will also lose. In this scenario, we have the Search for Two-Face scenario card. You can see it's got a big 1 in there, and we'll read what we do here in just a moment. We got a round marker. These are goals that are specific to the scenario, but will carry through in the scenario, and they tell us to do certain things. For example, when there are no mutants left in a region that does not have train written on it, this is a dry erase board. The whole board is a dry erase board, and we're going to do some adding to that. It's pretty interesting, right? Written on it next to it, then flip this gold card and claim the reward. The reward on this is that we're going to get to pick a certain new die, and that carries with us throughout the game. So this could be we can exchange a standard batarang, which is one of the ones I showed you, with the electric batarang, the explosive batarang, or the tranquilizer batarang, and they have different effects. So it's pretty cool. And then we also have this one called So Calm, So Right. It says when there are no press left in any region, in any one region, please, then you get to assume this, and you get 3 bat symbols, which allow you to do some special stuff, mainly rerolls, I think. And then you got this prototype batarangs. It's a goal card. It says each time you defeat or remove a cop, place them on this goal card when there are 5 tokens, and flip it, and you can see once again we get some special bonus batarang dice to play with. And again, there's a bunch of other tokens, a bunch of other characters. It's pretty cool. Up there in the top track, you see this. These are the health gauges for grit, health, and sanity for Batman. And they start at 8, and they're marked on the track, so you can see how that goes. And then right up above it, you can't really see it very well, but right up above it here is Wayne Manor. You take the Kane Memorial Bridge over to Wayne Manor, and when you're there, you get the health up a little bit. The maximum you get to is 10, and if you ever have any one track fall below here, you lose the game. Okay, pretty basic so far, right? Now, you also see that I have some miniatures out. I have Two-Face up here in Arkham Asylum. We'll talk about a scenario in a minute. I have Batman here on Wayne Tower, where he starts in this book, and Jim Gordon starts at Gordon's house right there on this book. Pretty cool, right? Now, this deck here is going to be the action card deck that we play on. And I'm just going to go in the middle of it. I'm going to shuffle up it again because I want to show you something. There's two types of cards in this deck. There are these ones which are part of the book. So book 1, you can see they're marked book 1. But then you also have, let me see if I can find some. These didn't. I got to shuffle these better. You also have starter. All the starter ones I think always go in, but the chapter 1 cards don't. And there's several types of cards. There's fight cards. There's detective cards. And I think that's it. But what you're going to do, and what you're going to do when you draw these out, is you're going to choose when. You'll see this as we go through because it's part of the first turn in the game. We're going to choose whether or not we want to keep it for this effect or put it in our event deck. The events are usually bad. The effects are usually good. And if we pick this one card, for example, to go in our deck, it's going to go in our fight deck. We'll shuffle that up a little later, and then it'll be part of our capabilities. If we get a detective card, if we keep it and not put it as an event, then that will go up. That will go into our hand immediately. We can use that during our turn for its effects. Pretty cool. I thought I shuffled the heck out of this. I'm just making sure I have, because I want to make sure that we have a good variety of cards, and they're not all coming from book 1 or the standard deck. Anyway, that is this. So in this part, of course, this part took a lot of setup, and then of course we have this over here. We have, of course, not of course, but over here we have the Doomsday track. It starts on 2. If it ever gets to 12, that's another way we lose the game. We hit Doomsday. Everything blows up. And what we're going to do is we're going to move around the board. We're going to defeat enemies. And in this scenario, we're looking for these clue tokens. You'll see them here, here, here. And on 4 of them, there are Two-Face's coins. If we collect all 4, we can then go take out Two-Face. And that's kind of what our mission is. We got to try and collect this. And we'll read the scenario now. Now let's go through the turn sequence first. Okay, here is the turn order sequence. Okay, so in the start of a new round, which we'll be starting momentarily, it's 4 turns in a round, we're going to choose our action cards. We're going to deal 12 action cards. We're going to flip 3 at a time and choose 2 to keep in our hand or in our fight deck, and 1 that goes to an event. Then when we're done with that, we're going to shuffle the decks and put them where they belong, except for the ones that are in our hand. And then we're going to write the adversary numbers. Well, we know that our adversary number up there is 7, but then after we get that, we have to choose how they're coming out. And based on the selections we make, that we may decide when we want those things to come out at different times, right? So we get some mitigation there, because Batman's he's a detective. He's studied up. He knows when these guys are coming, right? During the turn, we're going to resolve an event. That's the first thing we do. Then we're going to move Batman. He can move anywhere within a region. So let's focus down here on Batman a little bit. He can move anywhere within a region. So he's starting here, and you see the lines that go across the city. You also see that this dark purple is a specific region. So I can go all the way up to here in one move if I want. Of course, I'm crossing enemies, so that could be bad for us depending on the enemy. In this case, the only thing I really have to worry about is when there's 2 or more enemies, or 2 or more enemies in a space, I'll take damage if I pass through that. So like, for example, this one, it has, even though it's pressed, it's still an enemy. If I have these 2 here and I pass through it, I will take, it says I will take a damage. Okay. Now, again, I can move all the way across there in this zone. However, if I want to move into a new zone, even if it's only 1 space, I have to stop there and deal with that. So, we can move through things and we can stop and fight things. If we stop on a space, we have to stop on the enemy's space. So I have to go there. I can't go to the empty space and ignore it. I can, but I have to sneak. It's called sneaking. We'll get to that later as we play. And it says fight. Well, there we go. Activate an ally. Yeah, we can move 1 ally after we've moved. We can fight or sneak. If on an enemy token, fight it or sneak past them. So we can avoid the enemy tokens, but we don't like to. We won't. Fighting is good. We clear the board, and if the board gets out of control, we're in a lot of trouble. So we can use the action space. That's the space here. These all have different effects. For example, this one heals a sanity. That's the bat cowl with the up arrow. This one heals a health. This one will remove a press from somewhere. So you see that J. I imagine that the Joker comes out there at some point. Anyway, they all have a few different symbols. You'll get to see that in the play. And then after we do that, we're going to add adversaries. That's going to be from there. We're going to add the adversaries that we have numbered out and put on the board. And then we're going to advance the turn tracker. And at the end of the round, if we're going to place riots if we have to. We're going to draw paths, a new path on the map. We'll see how that goes. Remember, this is a dry erase board, and then we're going to advance the Doomsday Clock by 1 in a lot of cases. All right, that is that. So there is, again, so basically that gives you an overview of what we're going to be doing. But let's talk about the story. I want to read the story to you. All right, this is the story of this scenario. Now remember, in the Frank Miller Batman stories, which are fantastic if you don't get a chance, if you haven't read them, Batman is old. He's like, I don't know how old he is. He's an older man now, well past his prime, and he's come out of retirement. And this is the story so far. The search for Two-Face. You're not the only one who's returned. After years of treatment and plastic surgery, Harvey Dent is released back into the world. But despite his normal appearance, his Two-Face persona quickly resurfaces. He threatens to blow up 2 of Gotham City's buildings. It's up to you to stop him before it's too late. And that is the story. Our investigation. Your goal is to find clues to Two-Face's whereabouts by interrogating members of the mutant gang. In this book, mutants with clue tokens represent guards with secret information. To reveal a clue, you must defeat its guard in a fight and then use the action space where the clue is located. You may not remove guards by any means other than fighting them, so we can't get rid of them. Like, we can't get rid of them by using the special abilities and out of the spaces, right? What we are looking for in this are these tokens, or these symbols. If we manage to reveal 4 of them, then we can, it says, when you reveal a 4th coin, move Two-Face from Arkham Asylum to the location where you found the last coin. Then discard all unrevealed clues and flip the part to story card 2. We'll see that in a second. And basically, you saw that there's some special things for Batman that we talked about. We also have Commissioner Gordon, and we have the Batcopter and the Bat Control, the remote control Bat. What does the Batcopter do? It says you can acquire the Batcopter by visiting Wayne Manor. Once you've acquired it, you may use it once per book, and this is 1 book. This whole story is 1 book. And where was I? You can use it during, place the Batcopter. Okay, when you use the Batcopter, immediately move to Wayne Manor, then place the Batcopter on any action space in the location you left. Once you've placed the Batcopter, adversaries can't be added or moved to the action space it occupies, and riots cannot start at that location because, you know, we got the Batcopter there. It's all good. At the end of each book, if the Batcopter is on the map, return it to the card and figure to Wayne Manor. Okay, so the Batcopter is up in Wayne Manor. By the way, the miniatures for this are cool. You have standees and miniatures. I prefer miniatures. I haven't painted them. But, a little plug here, I did get my Army Painter Quick Paints. I'm very curious to see how good those are. They're supposed to be a 1-coat paint that allows you to paint faster. I'm super excited about that. And then the Bat, remote control Bat works very similarly. So we'll see that when it comes out in the game. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're getting ready to start. I'll probably just do 1 turn, or maybe do our first turn because there's a lot to do in the first turn, and then probably call this one a day. Here's our search for Two-Face Part 1. Investigate to reveal each clue. You must defeat or remove the guard covering it, then use the action space where the clue is. Discover Two-Face. When you reveal a clue showing a coin, place it in Wayne Manor. When you reveal the 4th clue, coin, move Two-Face to the location where you found it, then discard all unrevealed clues and flip this card. We'll save flipping the card for later. And of course, we want to gain all of our cool missions and stuff. Yeah, so here we go. Let's get started. Now, if you remember, maybe you don't, but we're going to first choose our action cards. Okay, so we're going to make up a deck right here consisting of 12 cards. Maybe another quick shuffle, and I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to get a good variety, so that's why I'm doing this. 7, 8, 9. Boom. Let's do this one more time. 10, 11, and 12. That is going to be our action deck for this round. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it in the round deck space. It tells you right here 12, which is helpful. And then we're going to start to reveal them 3 at a time. And we're going to build our deck. So I'm just going to give this one quick more shuffle just to make sure it's nice and shuffled up. And then we're going to get going. Okay, here we go. Let's draw our first three. All right, we got a detective card, a fight card, and boom, another detective card. Okay, so what do these do? Let's get a closer look. All right, so the detective side of this is create a distraction. Up to 3 times, move any one adversary to an adjacent location. That's pretty powerful. The event, meaning if I keep this for the event, is advance the doom clock by 1. Place a riot at a location with 2 or more adversaries of the same type. I do not want that to be our event, our very first event, or in our first round. Fight. This is a fight card. It says punch. After resolving blocks, treat all your remaining POWs as POW times 2. So that means we can hit harder. If we keep this as an event, we're going to add 1 mutant to Robinson Park and 1 mutant to any location in Midtown. This one might be okay. It's not that tough. Okay. Then we have this one. This stuff has a name as long as your arm. Choose 1 location with at least 1 mutant. Remove all mutants in the location and adjacent space. Very powerful detective card. And the ability is it says add 1 press to Selena's apartment. I think that this one is not going to be our event. So we're going to keep this card for sure. The question now is which one. I think this is a pretty weak event, but I like this card. I like both these cards. I think we're going to we'll get better fight cards. I think we're going to keep this one. This one will be our event. So I'm going to put this in our event deck. This will come into our hand. Remember, detective cards go immediately into our hand. Then we're going to reveal 3 more. Oh man, lots of detective. Oh my gosh, where's the fight cards? Now I'm in trouble. I want some fight cards in there. All right, so Rebirth of the American Fighting Spirit. Remove 1 mutant from each region. That's very powerful. Advance the Doomsday Clock by 1. And 1 press to Monolith Square. It's not too bad. Leak information. Remove 1 press from any location that is adjacent to another location with at least 1 press. Or as an event, add 1 press to Diamond District, add 1 to any location in Midtown. These, again, not bad. And then we got another leak information, so they're the same. Well, I think then we'll keep this one for sure, because I like remove 1 mutant from each sector. God, we're going to end up a lot. I guess I'll keep one of these. Which one do I want? They're the same. So this will be our next event. Come on, fight cards. Oh, good. There we go. 2 fight cards? Yes. All right, and let's see, what do we get? And a detective card. Okay, let's see what these 3 are. Meet Harvey Dent. Peek at an unrevealed clue on the map and add 1 cop to Arkham Asylum if possible. That's not a bad idea. Move or add 1 press to Gotham City Courthouse. Not a bad event. Our fight card, we do need fight cards. Back for more. After rolling all dice, re-roll your misses once. That's pretty good. And it says add 1 mutant to any location in Uptown. This turn's adversary number is permanently increased by 1 mutant, right, +1 next to the flame. That means it'll permanently be up every book we play in the future. Then it says this would be a fine death. After resolving blocks, lose 1 health to deal 1 damage. This turn, lose 1 health each time you move through a location with 1 or more adversaries or a riot. I think I do like this peak. We got plenty. We got 3 or 4 right now. 4 of these cards, no fight cards, and this is a really weak. I mean, put a press. I think we'll keep that as our event. We'll keep these 2 fights. I kind of like that. Peeking at a card. That's a hard choice. Maybe I will get rid of this one. Let's do this. This will be our event. This turn, lose 1 health each time you move through a location with 1 or more adversaries or riots. We won't do that in that turn, so we'll put that there. We'll keep this one because I really like that power, and we have our first fight card. So we really need some more, but at least we got 1. Okay, so there's another fight. Another detective. We're going to have a heavy detective hand. Wow, we might have 2. I have to keep this fight card. Martial arts. After rolling all dice, flip any one of your dice to the opposite side or add a mutant to Crime Alley. Well, let's just assume we're going to keep that. I need more than 1 fight card in my deck. That's kind of terrible. Oh, man, that's rough. I'm so tempted to not take this and keep that one. Anyway, let's see what these do. The rookie is safe. Remove any 1 mutant, upgrade the space where you remove the mutant, write X2 on it, then move any 1 cop there. I don't know what that's going to mean. That's something for the future. Its event is, I mean, I assume that this X2 is a good thing, right? move the space and remove the mutant, write X2 on it, then move any one cop. Remove one mutant, upgrade the space where you removed it from. Okay, I don't know what that means yet, but we'll figure that out, I guess. Hopefully we do. Lose 1 grit for each riot on the map. If there is no riots, lose 1 grit. This is pretty good. I like that. It's pretty safe. Draw a path from your location to any new location. You may immediately move to that location. This turn, adversaries' numbers are doubled. Right to okay. Do I want this one or this one as an event? I want this as an event. So we'll keep the draw a path. We'll put this in our fight deck, and we'll go there. And that is actually our first part of our turn. Then we're going to have to go back and write in some numbers. Now, I do have some extra mutants coming out, but I think it's okay. I think what we're going to do, and I have an extra press coming out too. So I think for the cops, we'll put let's see, we'll do 2 mutants because we're going to fight a lot of mutants. 1, so I end up with a press. Yeah. 2 of those. That's 2, and man, let's do this. I think we'll do this. 2, 2, 1. Yeah, so 1 there, and we'll do 1 mutant at the end. Let's see how that works out. I hope that works out for us. We'll see. And now we're ready to actually take our first turn, and we're going to do that. So let's get busy, and we're going to start now. So we have done this part of the first of the round. Now we're going to go 4 turns on the track before we do this part again. Each round we're going to do that again, right? Okay, so now we're going to go on Batman's turn. We're going to resolve an event. Oh, first off, we have to shuffle these up. So we're going to shuffle our event deck. It's got 4 cards in it, which is what it should have. And then we're going to shuffle our fight deck of 2. And there we have that. And now we're hyper ready to play. So here's our event deck. Here's our fight deck. Here's our cards. We'll definitely do some fighting. It's too bad I don't have a lot of fight capability, but it's okay. It's okay. Next turn. Next round. Okay, our first event is going to be lose 1 grit for each riot on the map. There isn't any. So lose 1 grit. Man, I'm glad that one came out first. That's really weak. And that means that way up at the top of the map, we're going to go down to 7 grit. Batman lost a grit just because there was no riots on the board, and he got him antsy, I guess. We'll see. Now that we've resolved an event, we're going to move Batman. I don't need to move Batman very far, actually. He's at Wayne Tower. I'm just going to move him here. We're going to move him here so he can get this clue from this mutant right there. I have a clue down here, too. We're going to have to figure out how to get to. Maybe I can use that card to draw a path between here and here and swing back around. That might be pretty good. Or maybe I can use it from Wayne Manor or Wayne Tower and come directly to here and go over there, because I have that card. It's called Shortcut Draw Path from your location to a new location. So let's think. I'm here, and I can play these at any time. Do I really? Is that worth it? Is that going to be the right thing? Because otherwise, I have to go all the way around here to get to here. Do I want to do that? I don't think so. So I think we are going to play this first. We're going to discard our action card, and we're going to draw our right away. Draw a place to move to, and I don't think we're going to move there quite yet. But we're going to draw a spot from here. I'm going to make it nice and thick so we don't miss it, to there, and now we can move to this location. We got to be careful to not mess that up, right? So. Oh, I bumped my tokens down. There we go. Okay. We got to be careful to not bump tokens as well. So we can move to Gordon's house. So that makes some sense, right? Batman's cut a path over to secret passage over to Gordon's house. All right, but we're going to continue with that move. We're only going to move 1. We're going to move right to here, so we don't have to do any of this. I'm not worried about anything on his card. And then that's it. Now we get to move an ally, so we're going to move Gordon. I think the obvious choice for him is to move him 1, 2 to here, and we're going to get on this space right here. We're going to clear one of the press out, because that's his special ability outside of riots. And that means we have 1 press off the board. That is good. And now that we've done that, we've activated our ally, we're going to fight or sneak. Well, we're going to fight. We're going to take this mutant on. Now, let's take a look at this. This is not adjacent to this. So right now, the mutant is going to fight us with 1 die. Okay, there are no other mutants adjacent to this one, so that's it. And that's how that works. Is like you look at when you look at the fight thing, the adjacency is the connections, not the place next to it. So like this doesn't count as adjacent. However, if you look elsewhere on the board, like these two spots do count as adjacent, for example. So he's only gonna have one die. We get to pick 3 of our battering dice. So I think we definitely want we'll take one block, we'll take a POW, and we'll take another POW. They come back at the end of the fight. So we'll take these 3 dice, and we're going to take this block, and then we're going to roll them up. I really think I should get a dice bowl. I'm worried about where these guys are going to go. Okay, so, that's not great, not terrible. So here's what's going to happen with these dice. Now, I have a card for reroll, but I'm not going to do that on this. That's not worth it. Let me see. What else do I have? Oh, I forgot to draw my fight. At the beginning of every fight, you draw a fight card. So we have the after rolling all dice, flip any one of your dice to the opposite side. I don't think that's helpful to us. I could block it and not take the damage, I suppose. Do I want to save this for a bigger fight? I think I do. We're not going to use this now. We're just going to take a hit. We can take a health hit, I guess. Okay, we don't want to take sanity hits because Two-Face hits you on the sanity all the time. So we didn't block anything. He got a POW, so he's going to hit us. But we also got a POW, which means we're going to remove the die. And because there are no more dice in the pool, we're going to remove him as well. Or we would remove anybody that loses a die. So, and here's the fight sequence, right? So we'll go through that. We drew a fight card. Oops, almost forgot that. We prepare our enemy dice pool. We did that. If we're fighting cops, we lose a grit. We didn't have to worry about that. Okay. Batman rolls up to 3 dice. We did roll our 3 dice. We don't have any ally assist dice. The enemy rolls. We did that. Rerolls can flip. We didn't need to do that. We didn't have any blocks. POWs and rams. Resolve all POWs simultaneously. And then cooldown. We would place this POW into cooldown. We would keep these other 2. But it doesn't matter because we killed the mutant that was there. Okay. And then it says end or continue. If the enemies have dice left, choose whether or not to continue to fight. But we don't. So fight cleanup, we're going to remove defeated enemies. Mutants and cops remove 1 token per enemy die. And set aside, must remove tokens on you're on first. So if we have adjacent ones, we're going to take out, we take them out after we take out the one on our space. I'm not going to worry about riots. And then we return our dice because, well, the fight's over. So we've got all 6 of our battering dice back. And we have cleared this guy. Okay. So the fight is done, and this mutant is kaput. Now, here's what we get to do next, right? So now that we've done the fight, we can use the action space, and then we have to use the one that we're on. So this one says you can reverse the doom clock, whatever it's called, doomsday clock back 1. So we'll do that. I mean, why the heck not? Doomsday track is all the way up here, so we'll bump that back to 1, and that's going to end our activation of the space. But we get to take this token. We got our first clue token. Come on, let's get lucky. We got luck. Wow, that was the first draw. That was awesome. So this this coin is going up into Wayne Manor. We have 1/4 of our objective to be able to uncover Two-Face. That is awesome. Okay, so we've done everything. Now we're going to advance the turn track. Okay, so we're going to add adversaries. So let's do that first. We're going to add 2 mutants. And let's see where we're going to add them. Okay, so we're going to add 2 mutants in the upper east side. That is here, right? Upper region, east and west. So yeah, so this is going to be upper east side. That will be here. So we're going to have 2 mutants up there. I think we'll add 1 here. And, oh, man, that space is crazy full. Oh, could be rough for us. Wow, we got to get up there fast. And we'll put 1 here, I guess. We'll have to take on... We're going to have some serious mutant action going on there, but we won't see another mutant come out in activation until turn 4. Okay, so we did that. We are then going to advance our turn track. And that means we're just going to go bloop, and we're done there. And then we're going to do the end of round. We're going to place riots. We don't have any. We're going to draw paths, draw a new path on the map. I don't know if we do that automatically. I don't think so. I think it's based on something you've done. I'm going to double check that. So aside from that card, at the end of the round, we do get to draw a new path. We can draw a new path. We don't have to. What would be good for us? So we know we got to get this clue down here. We have a path to get there. I don't want to use to get out of there again. That seems wasteful. We can go back the way we came. We have movement. See, we actually stopped movement getting there anyway, so that's not valuable. But what I do see as valuable is maybe drawing one from here to here. That would be really valuable. It says, what are the rules? Drawing paths can't cross other drawn paths, printed paths, bridges, or locations. So a bridge are these big gray ones. So that is not a bridge. That is just a location. Or I can link these two together, and when we come back here, I can come up and get into that area faster. I also have a clue here. It might be worth putting one here to here, because look how far we have to go. There's really not much up here that I can deal with, that I would want to deal with. I think that's the right move. Let's do that. We're going to put a path. Batman has created a path right there between the GCP headquarters and Mercy Hospital. That makes sense, doesn't it? That's a Batman-y thing to do, isn't it? All right, and that means that we're going to advance the Doomsday Clock back up to 2, because it was at 1. We knocked it down to 1, and there we go. That is a full round of Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. Man, it feels very themey, doesn't it? I like it. I like it. I like that we get to plan our decks out. That's pretty cool. We got a lot of great cards. I like that we kind of know and can anticipate what our events are going to be. It's a very Batman-y feeling. I love it. Anyway, we're going to end this episode right here, so I hope you are enjoying this. Let me know if I did anything wrong. I don't believe that I did. But we shall see. And then we're going to get to our next turn. Remember, we go 4 rounds before we get new cards. So we've got to keep that in mind. We can't burn them all too fast, but we do have some great cards like Move, Oppress, and oh yeah, we got good cards. Remove a mutant from each region. Man, that we may have to do that to clear this up, because that is bad. And maybe we can. Now we can't remove the. Remember, we cannot remove the mutants that are in a space that have a clue, or are the guards of the clue anyway. We can remove other mutants there, so that might be worthwhile. Maybe I start getting mutants out of these areas where I'm not going to go. That could be an option too. Because I don't mind fighting. We took a little damage, but it was pretty easy, right? To kill one mutant, to take him down. Anyway, or Batman doesn't kill, so he didn't kill him, he just took him out. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Let me know what you think of Batman The Dark Knight Returns, and if this is something that you think you will enjoy. So take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.